giant head will just hold the headphones together.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we are. We're reaching the end of a wear cycle. That's what I always used to say when I owned shitty old Volkswagen Beetles and stuff. Like, the motor is at the end of its wear cycle.
Can I tell you that when you said wear cycle, I immediately imagined like a motorcycle that turns into a werewolf.
Huh.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's not what this is
Yeah,
about,
no,
apparently.
It's just a wear
the first
cycle.
thing I'm like, is that a new kind of like it's like lycanthropy for motorcycles?
It's a different kind of cryptid. What I find hilarious though is when you got here this morning, you were like, I lied to my staff. I told them I was going to an AA meeting so I could come here and do the podcast. I'm like, that seems like a really opposite kind of excuse from what normal people would use. Like most people would be like, listen, I have to go do a podcast this morning and then sneak off to an AA meeting.
Well, the difference is they can't go on the internet and look for what I say in an AA meeting.
Yeah, right. That's true.
That was my thinking. But either way, no, I mean, we talked about this a lot. Being honest with everyone you work with is difficult and maybe embarrassing as you think it is. It's always best. For me, it was.
I guess. I mean,
for me, it was.
I don't think you need to tell people about your business outside of work.
I don't.
Just be like, I'm coming in late today. Aren't you the fucking boss anyway? Like, why are you making excuses?
The reason is because there's about a million things that have to come to me, like urgent calls, this, that, and the other.
Okay.
And if I'm not picking up the phone for 10 minutes and it goes straight to voicemail, it's like, where's Nat? Where's Nat? Where's Nat? And they call the office and they're like, this has to get done. Beepity babbity boop. So if I say that, then it shuts everybody up.
Okay.
And they go, oh no. Hopefully he doesn't start drinking again. He's going to start hitting us.
We better not call Nat today.
I don't want him to hit us. So,
yeah, well, okay.
And I'm not ashamed of it, I've come to a point in my life where I don't care. I'm
right.
Like, not only do I not care, I might be even a little proud of it.
Yes.
And I think whatever. I go to an AA meeting. I don't want to drink.
That's so funny because I was just writing about that in the book I'm writing. I was writing about it yesterday. The same thing. I was trying to. Well, maybe we can get into that actually. Since we're raw dogging this one, we didn't really have a plan of any sort.
When was the last time we had a plan?
Last time we had a plan. I'd carefully put together an outline and spent some time on it.
You had the plan, and so why don't we kick it off?
Yeah, let's kick it off. You know what? I'm going to disrobe. Sorry. Yeah, let's just get comfy in here. I'm going to take off my top.
And we're back. Welcome to Recovery in the Middle Ages, the podcast about two middle-aged suburban dads in their pursuit of life, love, and recovery. I'm Nat X.
And I'm Hot Mike. No, not that hot. I'm just like warm Mike.
Zexy. And boy, do we have a show for you. Today on RMA, the boys are back in town. That's right.
Can you come up with a different catchphrase?
What should I say?
I don't know, but not that. That reminds me of bad 70s rock.
2 in the juice, 1 in the poos. I don't know.
Well, okay.
All right,
maybe stick with the original.
I'll workshop it. Today on RMA, we are discussing a few articles and some happenings in the news. We're going to catch up on our life, recovery, and all of that, all this, and probably more on a very, very special edition, probably the most special edition of RMA. Hey, and welcome back.
Here we are.
1 in the goose, 2 in the poos.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know. It's total gibberish.
It's like liquor in the front, poker in the rear.
I think of it like a Rorschach test. So, whatever it means to you, just says everything we need to know about you.
Oh, the sickos that listen to this show. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they're gonna.
It's art, Mike. Everything is interpretable.
Sure.
So what's up? Where you been?
First, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
This is going to get me into trouble, but I'm going to do it anyway. You have not used the bathroom upstairs since you've arrived here. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. But whenever you come over, my wife cleans the toilet before you get here because
she knows I have to urinate frequently.
Yeah, that and I think she just doesn't want people to think that we live like animals, and we don't. I mean, but she gets very frustrated because in a household of 5 people, 4 of whom are men,
yes,
occasionally things go awry in the bathroom in terms of,
there's spray back
direction
there's missing.
Yes,
it happens
yes.
in my house too. Don't be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed. I feel bad that she has to deal with it. And I'm not quite sure. I mean, my response is always, well, I've been peeing for 57 years and I think I'm pretty good at it by now. But I don't think she believes me. I think she thinks that I'm the one spraying the back of the can. And I guess I could talk to the boys, but it's kind of like hard. Like, how do you be like, guys, make sure when you aim, when you drop your trousers and you're aiming that fucking war weapon, make sure that stream is going in the right direction.
I think you have to lay down the law and make it a rule. You have to sit when you pee.
Yeah.
It's emasculating. And
is that what you do in your house?
no, but I'm thinking about it as a punishment just for fun.
Punishment?
You got to sit down when you pee.
Okay. Nothing. What could go wrong? I mean, future therapy for your kids.
But then it would be on the mirror or the sink. There's no way of doing that correctly.
Sometimes I get very annoyed with John Crapper because he designed these toilets for sitting, not for standing.
It's true.
And why?
But who designed the urinal? Jack Urinal?
I don't know, but if only Elon Musk could tear himself away from Doge long enough to consider disrupting this particular industry, it would be great because maybe he could invent a urinal / sit down toilet hybrid that would work for both men and women.
Huh.
Somebody needs to do that.
If anybody can do it, it's Musk.
Right, he can do anything.
He can do anything. I mean, guys, there has been so much going on in the world, so much going on in the news. I would imagine with all of the things, all of the upheaval going on, I'm sure many of you and many people out there who have been sober for some time may be struggling. I'm seeing it in my life.
With urine?
You're in luck because peeing and drinking.
Oh, right.
Getting back to the back on the bottle. This is a time of great stress for a lot of people.
That's true.
And I wonder if people are, seeking out the help if they maybe lapsed or how that's going. And we'd like to hear from you guys how you're doing with all of the upheaval, we should say, in our government.
Carefully.
And, this is a very difficult time. I see it on some of my family members. Families are fighting with one another. I hear about it a lot. It reminds me of stories I heard about the Civil War, frankly.
Wow.
Brother versus brother type of thing. One guy's taking this one. And, it's a good time to reach out for support. So if you're really feeling stressed or angry or whatever it is, this is a great time to listen to a podcast like this or go to that meeting you haven't been to in 6 years.
Wow. That's great. It's weird marketing, but I'll take it.
But really, get some support,
Yes.
Get some support.
Yeah. Don't just sit there and fester. The funny thing is, the polarization is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's you're of one of two minds. Everything is either going the best way it possibly can go, or we're right on the verge of fucking anarchy and Armageddon. There doesn't seem to be any sort of middle way through this. And that could drive a person to drink very easily. Yeah,
I think it's important to keep things in perspective and not to look too much into a lot of the inflaming, just stay off of social media. That's what I've been doing, because it's the people who go on social media on the whole spectrum of beliefs are the most extreme views, and it will do nothing but make you angry, no matter where you stand. And I don't think it makes sense. It doesn't make sense for me because I don't feel like I'm getting an accurate picture of what's actually happening.
Well, right. That's because trust in institutions is at an all-time low, and you don't know if you're getting reality or something that's filtered through a point of view.
There's just
it's very disturbing. And
it doesn't help. So, I see what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying.
What am I saying?
I don't remember.
you said
I'm just babbling.
You didn't hear me.
I hear you. We're very polarized. It's either, black or white, left or right.
Right.
Okay. But the truth is, nothing is black and white in the world. And, keep in mind that we do have a very strong democracy that has withstood worse.
Really?
Let's just keep saying that. Just keep saying it.
All right.
It'll be true.
How much more politics are we going to do?
No politics. Okay. What do we have on the show?
Because fuck knows, man.
You had some articles, and
I have some articles, but can we talk about things first?
Yes, like San Francisco.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So you just got back from a trip with your family. I saw some pictures. It looked like a great time. You went to the left coast.
I did. Of course, I can't get my fucking music thing to work. God damn it. You know, what use is technology?
No use.
No use whatsoever. Fuck it. I was going to play a little bit of Timothy Leary talking in Golden Gate Park, but whatever. Yes, we went out. We had a vacation. You know, in New York, we have President's Week off. Most of the country apparently does not, but we do. Thanks to a overly aggressive teachers union. It struck an amazing contract back several years ago. We got the whole week off. So not only is it a good week to have off, it's a good week to travel because not everybody else is off. So we, when I went out to San Francisco about a year and a half ago with Jack and Ben to meet up with Grant and a few other folks from the show. And we did some hiking and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's so cool.
That was great.
How's Grant doing?
No, I didn't see him this time.
Oh.
I was just saying we did this a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah,
so we went to Muir Woods. We went to, and Grant showed us around some cool sites. And I thought, man, Aaron should really see some of this. And the boys wanted to go back. And the thing about looking for somewhere to go during February in the United States, right, is that the weather is a crapshoot, right? The two times we tried to go to Southern California, there was snow, there was rain. Thank you. So I said, you know what? Let's go to San Francisco because I know what the temperature is going to be there. It's going to be between 50 and 60.
Perfect.
And it was the entire time. So we went to Point Reyes. We went to Alcatraz. We went to Monterey. We did all the tourist stuff. We ate food. We had sourdough bread bowls with clam chowder in them. Actually, the kids did because I'm not eating a loaf of sourdough bread. I'm beyond the years where I can work that off.
An entire loaf?
Yeah, they hollow out the loaf and they fill it with clam chowder.
Oh, my God. That sounds
sprinkle crab on top.
Are we talking like Manhattan or New England?
No, fuck. That's not. I don't know what Manhattan clam chowder is, but it's not fit for human consumption. Nobody should fucking eat that stuff.
I'm with you. I like the cream one.
The cream one is the best. But
creamy.
Yeah. But I also went to the Haight, right? Haight-Ashbury.
Oh,
the
yes.
site of the Grateful Dead Ground Zero. Last time we were there, we swung by the Grateful Dead house, but this time we decided we were going to walk up and down the block, and we went into stores that were selling hippie shit, incense and bells, and
love it.
Went to a record store and bought some vinyl records.
That's it. I mean, we're doing that too. Noah got me into vinyl. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's great because you get to, you walk. It's like walking back in time to like the 80s and 90s where you could just flip through these records.
It's coming back. I love it.
Yeah, that was great. But the thing that struck me about that area is how many people are still sort of carrying on the drug, alcohol fueled craziness that went on in the 60s. And I don't know if it's just that's the area in San Francisco where that shit happens, or it's just more evident there. But there were a lot of
like drugs on the street, crack smoking,
not quite as bad as the Tenderloin, but there was definitely some public intoxication going on.
Yeah.
And and I will say this: the entire city reeked of weed, which I guess is not a surprise.
I
but
smell weed driving on the northern state.
Yes,
getting to work.
Yes, and it which is very strange because it makes me wonder. All these people that smoke weed in the car, weed you can smell, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol, if someone's drinking in their car, you can't necessarily smell it. But I'm assuming this roughly the same amount of people are driving around, with a half a load on, because when I go running, all I see on the side of the road are those little nipper bottles of vodka. Like there's hundreds. If I collected them all, I would have garbage bags full at this point. So I'm wondering if most people are driving around intoxicated in some way, and
that would be interesting.
The sober people are just the minority, which would explain half the traffic on the Long Island Expressway.
Yeah, you could never get an accurate count either. Not like most people would not admit that.
No, but I mean, and I smell a lot of weed when I'm driving to work in the morning. Like, who are all these wake and bake people?
I see it too. They're not shy about
No.
it. You look over and there's a guy literally holding like a little joint,
Blunt.
blowing it out, the thing and the blunts. It's amazing. I guess they can't really arrest all those people, or
Well, they don't. It doesn't seem like they're really trying, but I mean,
Yeah.
should you be driving around high? I mean,
it's pretty illegal. It's still DWAI.
Yeah, and it makes all the traffic go slow, so slow. Usually when somebody's like puttering around at 2 miles an hour in the right-hand lane, I'm like, they're fucking stoned.
Definitely.
And the other day I was driving behind somebody and they were smoking. I could smell it. And they were just like, it was like a Cheech and Chong movie. They were driving like, how's my driving, man? They were like going 2 miles an hour. I'm honking. I'm like, you stoned motherfucker, just drive. It was so annoying.
Hey, officer. Yeah. So, I mean, look, they can't arrest them all. And this was one of those issues that,
Well, I don't know if I want people arrested. I just don't want them smoking while they're driving.
well, what's the deterrent for that? Good sense, a good talking to? I mean, there has to be some penalty. The same way I got in trouble when I was not okay to drive. I mean, why should these potheads get away with it?
I guess they
bullshit.
shouldn't get away with it.
No. Fuck those people.
Okay. that's where we're at, huh? As a podcast now. Fuck those people.
Fuck those people. Put them in jail. Yeah.
If only there was some sort of interlock device for weed,
I remember when this all started to go down, the legalization and availability. Something that we talked about is how are the police departments going to enforce the DWAI or DWI or DUI laws, and because you can't use breathalyzer. I mean, maybe you can. Maybe there is one by now. But this was a thing, because it is still illegal to drive while impaired. Remember Tiger Woods in that accident, right?
Yeah, wasn't he on benzos too?
He was like benzos, and he took an Ambien. He was chasing some girl, and that's considered a DWI.
Right.
So it should go.
Well, he also didn't he run his Buick off the road and into a tree?
Yeah.
And then fled the scene.
Man, that poor Buick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably the last Buick ever sold. That would be my guess.
My grandmother had a 1984 Buick LeSabre 2-door.
Wow.
I loved it. She used to sit, she was tiny. She would sit on phone books. It was amazing. I was trying to explain that to Noah one day. He's like, what's a phone book? Forget it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. What is a phone book?
Yeah, but I don't know. They should figure out something to do with the weed people who are driving.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe just gather them all in a field and look at butterflies for a couple hours instead of putting them in a cell.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, I don't read a lot about, so-and-so got in a horrific accident and they found THC in their system. That hasn't been popping up like you see these drunk driving stories, like drunk driver wipes out a soccer team from, the South Shore. I haven't seen stories where they're attributing horrible car wrecks to pot smoking, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. So maybe that's why you're not seeing their furor over it.
I remember looking at the statistics of Colorado or something after legalization, and the car accidents actually went down over the next year. And I don't know if that's because people were just driving less because they were just high in their houses and didn't leave the house. Just order Uber Eats.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. Yeah. It's Uber Eats plus pot's legal, so less people driving.
I don't know. My feeling about weed is, I mean, have at it, but
go for it. Just please don't drive.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Hey, I have this friend.
Oh, cool.
You may remember him. He was on our show early days.
Yeah.
His name was Seamus.
Yes.
Okay.
I do remember.
I got in touch with him a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I forget who reached out to who. I think he reached out to me. And he let me know that he was back on the journey of just sobriety.
Oh, great.
And that he had some period of wandering out in the wilderness. And
research, we used to call that.
He was not done with his field research. And he's my age, I would say. And, listening to him talk about the things he had been doing for, the last little while, really sort of drove home how grateful I am to not be in that situation anymore.
It's hell.
He lives in a part of the country, let's just say it's Florida. And
for the sake of argument,
and on the beach, right? And so, it's a case where some environments are more conducive to getting sober than others, right? And living on a beach in a warm climate where basically everything that there is to do and revolves around drinking in some way, it's very difficult when you're in that environment to sort of pull out of your nosedive.
Otherwise, it would be a bore. Beaches overall, if you're not like swimming or something, it's a bore.
It is a bore.
To me, anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why I took up scuba diving, to have something to do with the beach. And I realized that when I went to the all-inclusive in 2020 after I had stopped drinking, and I was sort of like, okay, well, what do we do now? And we spent half the time off property, doing stuff. Which
is great.
Yeah, but, it made sort of like paying for the all-inclusive kind of a waste.
What was the point?
But, it's very hard to turn the ship when you are 50-something years old and you've been doing this for, however many years. So all credit is due to my friend for realizing that. But he was also into like some of the other stuff like that you shouldn't be doing in your late 50s.
Hard stuff?
Hard stuff.
Like narcotics?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Dabbling in the let's just say snowing in Florida.
Skiing.
Yes, going skiing in Florida. Yeah. And that one really stuck in my head because I had a tango with that years past.
Me too.
And it's been a long time for me, like 20 some odd years plus. But the idea of like putting that stuff up my nose at my age and wondering if each line could be the bullet that tears apart the fucking widowmaker artery in my heart.
Wow, that's poetic. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was sobering. No pun intended.
I think it was pun intended.
Yeah. So I wish him well on his journey, and I asked him if he might think about coming on again to sort of give an update and discuss. And he's a bit of a raconteur, and I always appreciate hearing him.
Oh, that's cool.
And he agreed. He said he wants to get a little time under his belt first, and I said, yeah, just reach out whenever you want. But I guess the moral of the story is, you
don't do drugs, kids.
Yes, but keep at it, keep plugging away, because at some point it's going to stick, and if you don't keep coming back, it's eventually it's going to get the better of you.
If we learned anything from Queen Liz of Monksterhaven, it's never too late. It's never too late. Turn it around. It's because you hear that a lot sometimes from people, or I used to in the rooms, and it's too late for me. Giving up at 60 or 55 when really it's not. It is never.
Any time is the best time to
You'll
start.
feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to another friend of mine who he started a company. He's building racing yachts in his attic.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. Sales are through the roof. Sorry,
sales.
Bad timing. I've been holding on to that one since yesterday. Yeah. Okay, so it's been a. Well, what's going on with you?
Well, everything.
It's just me.
It's all about me. And you. Well, the kids, it's been just crazy. So, I think last time I recounted my latest fainting spell.
Yes.
And malnutrition and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to report that I'm doing much better.
Is that a bottle of water you're holding in your hand?
Better than water. It's liquid IV, like electrolyte.
Oh.
Bing bong. I don't know what's in it exactly.
Bing bong?
Yeah, that's what I say, but I don't know what it is.
Okay.
And I'm taking the doctor's advice for once. I'm having breakfast. First thing I do is have one of those electrolyte replenishment drinks. I'm eating more and more taking vitamins, supplementing with like the elderly people shakes.
Okay.
Boost and Ensure.
Right.
And I feel a lot better. I haven't put on a ton of weight yet, but I feel much healthier.
Good.
So I'm on my way to being, a healthy weight and feeling better. But it has just been so stressful between my business, at home with the kids, and they're very busy, and it's all getting very crazy. But it's just nonstop. So I'm trying to find time to just stop and, I don't know, not meditate, but just to breathe. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty exciting. The kids, Noah's got a big musical coming up at the high school.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing the Addams Family. And the other night, it's funny because at these school board meetings, they trot the kids out in the most awkward situation you could ever perform a snippet of a musical in. It's like the bright lights, the board members are sitting there, and it's weird. I have a video of it, but they did a great job. They do it all. And they're just basically trying to justify their existence to the board. Here's where all that money went. Look at these kids.
Keep writing checks, guys.
Yeah, please. And that was really cool. So I'm very excited for him. And Max has been, full-on jiu-jitsu warrior.
Can he kick your ass yet?
Yes. And I told him that. I said, you could kill me, Max. You need to go easy. And now, after watching Cobra Kai, he wants to also take karate.
Okay.
So he's very interested in karate. And it's been wild. It's been a lot going on. On top of it, church has been pretty active for me. We have Palm Sunday coming up where we do a pageant. And miraculously, we've had more kids, so it's been kind of fun. Yes. So it's been a lot more fun for me at church because, when we have 2 kids, it's kind of I don't know, it's okay, but I like to have a big group of kids and have some fun.
Yeah.
And learn about, it's a good time. So it's been very stressful, and I think I'm managing things well. The work end of it has been sort of a nightmare, but I don't remember when it wasn't, so...
You're just dealing with the nightmares better, right?
Yeah.
Your approach to your life has changed.
I'd say that. I'm trying to approach it differently.
What vitamins are you taking?
Believe it or not, I went to go get a haircut. There's a point to this. I'll get to the answer. Okay. I was getting a haircut in town, Yachislav, Steve, and he was cutting my hair. This was my last haircut, and he noticed it looked like dry skin or something on the top of my ear. He goes, "You've got to take, you need vitamin. And I looked at him and I said, what do I need? Batman? He goes, no, vitamin. I said, vitamin. He goes, vitamin. I said, oh, vitamins. When he told me, he's like, just go to get these Centrum 50 and up chewable gummies, and I did. So I'm taking the chewable Centrum 50 and up gummies. And I feel good. I don't know. I don't have all of the same. My skin was getting really dry. I mean, clinically dangerously dry skin. Okay. Really, bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Very, very scary dry skin.
Okay.
Which I attribute to, I guess, no vitamins or something, and definitely lack of hydration. So that's all getting a lot better. But it did get scary for a bit.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't get the nutrition they need from their diet because, like in your case, you weren't eating all that much. So all the vitamins that you ordinarily would be taking in through the food you were eating, you were not taking in.
At all.
But I take 3 things. I take vitamin B12, vitamin D, and magnesium.
Just separately?
I don't like taking pill vitamins, so I chew a lot of gummies, which, is people make fun of me for eating my vitamins like I'm an 8-year-old, but
it's better.
They taste good too.
Probably dissolves better and gets to your bloodstream better.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing that you're doing though is the electrolyte stuff because you don't realize how easy it is for that shit to get out of balance.
Yeah,
and that's why I take the magnesium and the B12, D3. Everybody who's in the northern hemisphere is generally deficient in vitamin D at some point because we just don't get enough sun. We don't go outside enough, And
I have that too.
So I feel much better when I'm taking them. And when I don't take them, I know I'm not taking them, and it has an effect on my mood too.
Wow.
And I started taking those because when I quit drinking, I was reading a lot about nutrition and what you need to replace after years of depleting your stores of various vitamins. So a good multivitamin is huge, but you probably need extra D3, B12, and magnesium. This is not medical advice and should not be construed as such. But it couldn't hurt, right? So, take your vitamins.
So I'm really trying to take care of myself. Part of when I look back on it, a lot of it was due to what I would call depression.
Others might call it that as well.
I really think I was at a place where I was just allowing myself to wither and die. I probably didn't know that, but I was like, I don't know, I was disintegrating basically. And I was like, it's inevitable. And the worse I got, the more I was like, this is it, and I'm just really glad that I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, I think your fainting spell was your body telling you that things needed to change.
Yeah.
And fortunately you listened to it.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of life to live. There's a lot of exciting things going on. I mean, we're just having a great time, and my kids, whatever they're up to, is so exciting for me. I love watching them go. Yeah. Max is getting and guys, Max is not a big kid. He's 10, but he's at least 4 inches shorter than any 10-year-old you've ever met. But he's stocky and he's gritty, and he's starting to. I go to these jujitsu practices, and he's like an animal, but like in control.
Right.
And at the last jiu-jitsu practice, they put him and this other kid who's like really experienced about his height. And they were sparring, or they were doing it, and the whole place was standing up and watching. And
wow.
It was like, I wanted to hold up like money and be like,
50 quattros on the newcomer. Yeah.
So it's just, I'm really just trying to appreciate what's in front of me. And there's good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff that I want to be around for.
Well, good. Well, we certainly want you around as long as possible.
Yeah.
It's hard though, man. Life is a struggle, and every day is, it's a shit sandwich. There's another bite waiting for you.
Yeah.
But you got to get through it. And the thing about a lot of people, like, they grind without like thinking about the consequences of just constantly grinding.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're taking a little time for yourself, because it's like they say on the airplane, right? You put your mask on first, or else you're not going to be conscious long enough to put the kid's mask on.
Yeah.
So you got to take care of yourself.
I want to be fun daddy. I want to be the daddy they can look up to and do things with and have energy, because it took me back to when I was really in bad shape during my addiction, where I couldn't be the parent I wanted to be. And that really upset me. And once I started to see that, even though I'm sober now, I had my anniversary come up on January 18th.
Right. Was it like 50 years or something?
I can't remember, 6, 7, something like that. But it rolled around, and then I was like, I'm this many years sober, and I'm going through the same things, just with a different problem.
Right.
And sometimes I even longed for the days where my number one problem was just to not do drugs, not to drink, because it has gotten far more complicated and difficult.
Yep.
But that's life, and maybe that's what I was running from while I was, seeking all that stuff out. So that kind of scared me a little bit too. It's like you hear about sober bottoms, and everybody's giggling when I say that, but it really felt, like, oh my God, this can still happen to me, even though I'm not drinking my face off. And so it's good to remember that for me.
I mean, that's very true, because you really can engage in all this avoidant behavior, that's not based on alcohol or drugs, right? I mean, you can become a workaholic. You can, become consumed with exercise. There's like so many ways that you can pull back from this life thing that don't necessarily involve drugs. And the thing about when you're drinking and drugging and all that stuff is like in your head as the thing that's front and center, it's very easy to sort of let the other stuff go, right? But then when you have to do the other stuff, And what's your outlet then? You have to find one, right? I mean, and you can't be compulsive about it either. You know, I can get a little compulsive about exercise. And if I really, you know, I go through waves with my diet where I'm like, I start to become obsessed with like food purity. And I can see that like when it starts happening, I know that like my head is not in a good space and I need to like go eat a fucking steak or something.
Well, you look great. I meant to say, like, you look very healthy.
Thank you.
I mean, you usually do, but
I mean, I'm tired, but you know, who isn't, right?
Who isn't tired?
Yeah. And the winter's been very long.
Yes.
And a little depressing.
You would say sad?
Yes.
Seasonal affective disorder?
Well, that's the other thing that...
I didn't even consider it while it was happening. But now the sun's out, and I feel better. I'm like, wow, miracle.
That's the other thing that B12 and D3 is good for is seasonal affective disorder. So take your vitamins, kids.
B12, isn't that what Roger Clemens was injecting to get all of those strikeouts? He's like, it's not steroids, it's B12.
Yeah, among other things. I mean, you know, I'm sure it was B12 that made him pick up the bat and go after Mike Piazza, right?
Probably. That's just Mike Piazza's mustache and haircut.
Wow, that makes me want to punch him in the face. Anyway. All right, let's take like a quick break and then get back and start the actual show.
We'll be right back after these words. And we're back.
We are.
Hi.
It occurred to me before we went to break, or just after we went to break, that we had gotten some reviews.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are they good?
3 of them in January.
Fucking A.
Are they good? They appear to be good.
Okay. I'll take it.
Maybe we should read them.
All right.
First one is from January 6th, which is just after the new year.
A day of infamy.
Maybe. I don't remember it. Airly is the reviewer. It's a 5-star review, I might add. And she says, thank you, she or he, I don't know. Thank you for this show. I do not drink alcohol because I do not like it. I do, however, have a family member who has AUD. I listen to this to better understand use and recovery processes. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that. That's a 5-star review. We really appreciate that. We could use that. Let me read the next one. It's been a while.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. This review is from Jules and Joey. It's I guess a combo review.
Yeah.
And the title reads, thank you. 5 stars, January 15th. I'm so glad these guys are back. Well, stayed up late to listen. A simple, funny reminder that life is still all of the things, only better and more funny in sobriety. Thank you so much. Yeah. We are back as much as we can be, and I feel like spring has sprung and my depression has sort of abated, and
now we can do shows.
Yeah, like last night you texted me, you're like, are we going to do a show? I'm like, you know what? Fuck yeah. Like tomorrow morning, I have nothing prepared, but let's just do it.
I was all for it.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it.
Got one more. You want to do it?
Yes. The next one says Ryan, parenthetically, not Brian. The title is Great Show, 5 stars. As someone who is early in recovery, this show is a great listen, and I'm excited every time I see a new episode posted. Hoping to see more episodes in 2025. Thanks, Ryan.
We too are excited to see a new episode posted.
Yeah.
We'd be even more excited if someone else recorded them and posted them on our behalf. No, I'm kidding.
I kid.
So let's round up of the week's news.
Yeah. All right. Recovery in the news. Recovery in the news. Recovery in the news. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Nailed it?
Yeah.
I missed the intro.
You got it.
I missed my intro.
It's okay. That's fine.
I'll get it next time.
I wonder, somebody should do a super cut of all those and just post it somewhere.
There's a bunch of really awful ones where like where I couldn't hear the music.
Yeah.
And we posted it anyway.
Oh, that reminds me.
Yes.
I want to apologize about the last show.
I forgive you.
There were some technical issues. Apparently, 2 things went wrong. The first thing that went wrong is I forgot to put the outro music. So there was no outro music. The second thing that happened was fucking Podbean just decided to drop ads all over the show, like little piles of dog shit. And they were for like Jesus Recovery this and
I can remove
Holy
those.
Recovery that. And more than one person communicated to me about that.
We did not want that. I think at some point I gave them the option to like put in ads so we could make some money.
Right.
We made like $25 in 30 days with that ridiculous ad. I couldn't figure out how to turn it off from my phone. So today, I promise I'm going to go to my laptop, which I'm running around so much. I don't sit in front of a terminal or a computer like for more than 20 minutes a day. I'm running around. I do most of my stuff on the phone calls, whatever. But I don't want that for our show. It's not necessary, and it's not like it pays any bill. It might buy me a Happy Meal at McDonald's, if that. So I will remove those once I can figure out where to turn it off.
If only they would. I don't care if they drop ads in for like Clorox or whatever, but don't drop ads in for recovery stuff that we don't have any idea what is being pushed on our, like, with our name behind it.
I think it was like a really like Jesus Recovery or something.
Somebody was like, I heard it and I thought it was a parody at first. And I was like, yeah, I can understand. So apologies. We're going to try and rectify that.
Yes.
So in the news this week, Blac Chyna.
What?
Blac Chyna. Do you know who Blac Chyna is?
I'm not even going to try to guess.
Blac Chyna is a rapper who goes by her birth name currently, Angela White. Okay. Right, I know. Blac Chyna.
Counterintuitive.
Angela White. I mean, whatever gets clicks. Yes. I get it, right? Blac Chyna shared recently how she realized that she is an alcoholic, says she has nightmares about drinking since quitting. The rapper celebrated 2 years sober in September of 2024. She has been around the airwaves, the media shows, talking about her sobriety, reflecting on her past struggle with alcohol and the nightmares she's had since beginning her sober journey. She was on Piers Morgan Uncensored and recalled the moment that she realized she was an alcoholic. She says, "I thought if you drink for like 2 or 3 days straight, back to back, that's not an alcoholic." White 36 explained. "In my eyes, an alcoholic was, you have to wake up, you need a drink. I need a drink, I need a drink. But when I would drink an alcoholic drink, I wanted another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And it's binging. So I had come to the realization like, hey, maybe I am an alcoholic," she said. She now says she doesn't miss alcohol at all, which is actually something I can promise all of you folks that if you give enough time between your last drink and your sobriety, you will get to that blessed state. And she doesn't struggle with temptation. She says she is so far removed from drinking that she only deals with nightmares about it. "I literally have a lot of nightmares where I'm asleep and I've drank in my sleep and I will wake up like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Because it's like, I'm not starting over," she said. Because I have started over. I would do like 4 months and then something happened and I would start over and do it again. So this time I'm like, I'm not going to go back to it. That's not the lifestyle I want to live. So I think Blac Chyna's journey parallels in a lot of respects many people's journeys, especially if you've been thinking, if you have this preconceived notion in your head about what an alcoholic actually is, and wherever you get that from, whether it be sort of the seeping of the AA definition into the larger culture or what have you, or you still have this idea that alcoholics drink in the morning or drink under a bridge out of a brown paper bag. I think it took Blac Chyna a little while to figure out that, hey, even though I'm a binge drinker and I'm not, drinking in the morning, I still have a problem. And, kudos to her for deciding to do something about it.
Yeah, and being vocal about it is so important because people, fortunately or unfortunately, take famous people's word to heart like it's gospel sometimes. So it's very important for people in those positions to, when they're doing something good, I hope, to be able to, say things out loud and proud, to have a positive influence for once.
Yeah. Especially when you're in the music industry, which is not, known for its sobriety. Although I have to say a lot of the, older rockers who are still with us, it's probably because they stopped doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like Joe Walsh has been sober for like 40 years.
Is Keith Richards sober? Or is he pickled?
No, he says he quit drinking a few years ago. I think all he does is smoke cigarettes. I think they're keeping him alive at this point, the cigarettes. But who else? Like Iggy Pop's been sober for 40 years. David Bowie was sober for like 35 years. I mean, the guys that have longevity in this industry are the ones that put the bottle down, a couple of decades ago. Because otherwise, how can you possibly be in your 60s, 70s and making music if you're still on the piss,
Yeah, it's always great to see, and you hear more and more of people will come out of the woodwork. You'll see those posts like, I didn't know that guy was sober.
Right.
Kid Rock is that? No, Kid Rock.
Not Kid Rock.
I'm thinking of a different performer. In any case, more and more of these performers we used to know that were just drunks or whatever have been sober a while. Like Eminem. That's one I didn't realize until I heard recently that the guy is sober. So it's good. I mean, it's important to get that out there, especially with all of the pot smoking being such a thing right now. So to have someone like that be sober, it goes a long way.
Well, I don't know if Blac Chyna Blac is sober from cannabis.
Marijuana.
No idea.
Marijuana.
Yes. That's.
Oh, is that not?
You're not supposed to call it that.
Oh,
especially not in that racist accent.
Marijuana. That's bad.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's great. I mean, I'm good at it. It's a good accent. Whatever.
Anyway,
cannabis.
Blac Chyna's Blac Chyna's parting words to us are: if you guys are on your sober journey, keep going. Keep going. Every single day is worth it. Cut out the negative people. Get into your fitness. Find out your passion and what God wants you to do, and do exactly that. Right?
Yeah.
I love Blac Chyna.
I do. Chyna Blac.
That is awesome advice from Blac Chyna. Okay. On a less positive note, in celebrity news, you are familiar with the case that Melissa Trachtenberg died this week at age 39?
I heard something about it, but then was distracted by this bizarre Gene Hackman death situation, which is just really weird, man.
Yeah.
I think I figured out what happened, though. I was going to call the police and tell them what happened, but I figured I'd let them figure it out.
So Gene Hackman, this famous actor who
Lex Luthor.
Right. And The French Connection, and what else? Poseidon Adventure, which was my favorite movie when I was growing up.
I'm thinking of Dabney Coleman for Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, Gene Hackman, what a fantastic actor.
Amazing. Everything he was in was
excellent.
Great. Anyway, he was 95 years old.
Oh, wait. Was he in, what was the movie with Denzel Washington where he was the captain and Denzel was the XO? It was a submarine movie, and it was called... oh, man. What a great movie. God. I can't think of it. It's not the Sean Connery one.
No? Oh, that was Hunt for Red October.
Yeah. In any case, look it up. He's fantastic in that with Denzel.
So he was found deceased yesterday in his house in the foothills outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he had been living for several years with his wife, who is 30 years younger than him.
She's 65.
65. And strange circumstance. And what was really strange to me was how they immediately said they thought there was no foul play involved, right?
Yeah.
But they go in and they find her on the floor in the bathroom with a space heater on her head and pills next to her body.
Pills all over the...
And he is in another room, collapsed in the vestibule with a cane, and the dog is dead too.
In the crate.
And they immediately decided, this is okay.
This happens all the time.
This is fine. I think they responded to the public being like, what the fuck are you talking about? I mean, right, very sad. It could be like some kind of a suicide pact or something. But if that's the case, why weren't they both in bed? Why were they wandering around? Why was she in the bathroom with a space heater on her head? And why did they only kill one dog when they had three?
I have a theory.
Okay.
Here's how I put it together, because I like true crime. So I listened to the news this morning, and just like what you said, same thing you just said. And the way I think it happened was the wife goes to the bathroom. I don't know what these pills are, but she's having some kind of a medical emergency, right? Doesn't get there in time. She collapses, knocks over that whatever space heater. He hears it. he's like kind of frail, I'm told.
Right.
And he's like, he's got his cane. He falls down trying to help her because it's the love of his life.
Right.
The guy hits his head or something, or maybe he just has a heart attack.
Yeah.
Or he falls down, can't get up, and no one can like help him or feed him. He dies. The dog is in a crate. No one comes to the house to feed the dog. The dog passes away.
Was the dog in a crate?
That's what they said.
Okay.
That's what I heard. It's not confirmed, but that was the first thing I heard.
Oh.
So
I assumed the dog. See, I thought you were going to say the dog ate a bunch of the pills that she left on the floor.
That's also possible if I'm wrong about the crate. The thing that is strange, why was the door open?
Which door?
The front door, they said.
Was wide open?
It's weird. They said open. Did that mean unlocked or does that mean ajar?
Well, they lived a little out of town.
Yeah.
You know.
It's
And I know that area outside to Santa Fe.
Yeah.
It's if you didn't have a reason to go to their front door, like you probably would never notice it was open.
Right.
And I guess a handyman showed up.
I don't know if he had kids or anything that would have been checking on them.
I don't either.
So they said they'd been deceased for some time, maybe weeks. And
mummified remains, I believe, was the term.
Right, but they said that it's not uncommon in that area because it's so dry for mummification to happen, especially in the winter. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, hopefully they get to the bottom of that, and it's a, I don't know. I'd like to think that he chose the hour of his own demise at age 95, and it wasn't just some kind of crazy thing that happened like you just described. But who knows, right? I guess we'll figure it out.
So what's with the other person who passed at 39? I didn't hear about this.
She was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Gossip Girl, and they found Michelle Trachtenberg. She was found dead in her New York City apartment, and the police said she died of natural causes. And I thought, okay, well, that's NYPD speak for an overdose or something like that. But as it turns out, some sources have been sort of saying that she had recently undergone a liver transplant due to damage caused by alcohol addiction.
Wow.
Yeah. So she had a new liver, and something caused it to, I don't know, malfunction.
Like drinking on the new liver?
I don't know. I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's, because
it's a dangerous procedure that sometimes is rejected. Very sad.
The reports have not been confirmed, but sources suspect there may have been complications following the procedure. The CDC, or what's left of it anyways, estimates that nearly 100 million people are living with some form of liver disease and are unaware of it. And this could be because symptoms are subtle at first, such as a yellow tint in the eyes or skin, dark urine, and fatigue. So if you are listening to this and you are currently drinking and you have dark urine, yellow eyes, and are excessively fatigued, maybe go check that out.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
Alcoholism is the number one cause of liver disease, as breaking down alcohol can cause the liver to produce harmful substances that damage the organ cells and cause scar tissue to form. And I will show you a picture of her from a while ago, right? Nice, attractive young woman, right?
Healthy.
Yep. And here is a picture from a recent Instagram post.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully, I don't know. There's nothing good to take out of this.
But it's a reminder that these days there is no doubt it is clinically proven. There is no amount of alcohol, guys, that is safe.
Right.
So even one drink, it's hard on your liver. It does damage. So drinking like a handle of whiskey a day will kill you.
Or even drinking as little as a couple glasses of wine a day over many, many years.
It increases your cancer risk. This is not debatable anymore. This has been announced by the FDA. The Surgeon General, I think.
Yeah.
So don't fool yourselves.
Bobby Kennedy.
Don't fool yourselves.
Which sort of segues us right into the next article that I saw in the New York Times this week.
The old gray lady.
Called How Red Wine Lost Its Health Halo. For a glorious decade or two, the drink was lauded as good for the heart. What happened?
Common sense prevailed?
Which is kind of interesting because the Times has been, if you look at the number of articles it's put out there in the last few years, they've been very sort of cagey about walking back what they've had to say about the salubrious effects of red wine.
Salubrious.
Yes. But it seems like they're finally sort of coming around. I mean, let's face it, the New York Times, they actually have a wine
club.
A wine club.
I
of the
always
month.
wanted to join it, but it was too expensive. When I
Yes.
wanted to join it, I was in my early 20s, and I loved wine, of course. Before my, I was totally off the rails, but I always wanted to join that club.
Yes, they always had such interesting looking bottles. And,
Full page ads in the time, because I used to get it delivered.
Yep.
And, yeah, so they're behind it.
Well, it seems they've changed their tune, and I don't know if they have a position on this, but a drip of articles has been coming out over the last couple of months that really has called into question the health benefits of alcohol, and I think they've finally gotten to the point where they're not,
they should
they're
be
letting
honest.
go of it. Because, I mean, this article, they go into the whole origin of this concept that red wine and the resveratrol or whatever it is, that compound in there that supposedly is super antioxidant, is actually good for you. It all started in a segment on 60 Minutes in 1991.
Wow.
That show.
Yeah, with that angry old man at the end. What
Mike
was his
Wallace?
name? No, at the very end.
Oh, Andy Rooney.
Yes.
He's
always like, why is that? I love those segments.
Andy
man.
Rooney was great.
Yeah.
This one was this segment on wine was done by Morley Safer. Do you remember Morley Safer?
I know the name and I don't remember the face.
Yeah, Morley is dead now, I think.
I didn't know they were sick.
I'm not looking. I think it was like 100. Morley Safer posed the question, how could it be that the French enjoyed high-fat foods like pâté, butter, and triple cream brie, yet had lower rates of heart disease than people in the United States? The answer to the riddle, the explanation of the paradox, may lie in this inviting glass, Mr. Safer said, raising a glass of red wine to the viewers. And it was off to the races after that. All the alcohol industry needed was somebody like Morley Safer and 60 Minutes giving their dubious studies the imprimatur of health and fitness, and all of a sudden red wine sales after that show went off within the next couple of years went up by 40%.
Wow.
Yeah. It was in conjunction with like the Mediterranean diet and all this other stuff, like how it's healthy. And what's really interesting is it seems to me, as I look at it now, with the dubious science and the clear evidence in the other direction about all of the negative effects of alcohol, that the I don't know what I want to call it, the hypnotic effect that alcohol has over societies writ large.
Yeah.
People want to see this. They wanted this to be true so badly that they overlooked the science that showed it was a known carcinogen, that it was actually damaging to the heart muscle, that it was damaging to the liver, damaging to social relations. Folk locked in on these 3 studies that were not done particularly well and funded by the booze industry, and everybody just ran with it because they wanted it to be true. They wanted the doctors to tell them they could drink.
They're having too good a time. Yeah. And I've thought about this a lot, over the course of this show. Like, what is it about alcohol, and wine specifically's hold on all of us, the romanticism? There's a degree you can take to become an expert. It's called a sommelier.
Right.
And
I wanted to be one for a while.
Me too. You have the little cup around your neck. Oh my God. And when I would hear these sommeliers talk, at a couple times I went to some restaurants, I was enthralled, and I was like, this is so cool, because they're talking about which grape comes from which region and how much rainfall was this. Like, you can it's really interesting.
It is.
If you really want to dig into like wine, it's actually, it's a very interesting topic. And so, but they've built this around wine. I remember I was in Italy with my wife before we had kids. And we went to this, local winery, and they showed us what the ritual was. You put the wine in, you use your 2 fingers, you move it around, you look for the viscosity, it is, all of it. But I mean, it's so alluring, and it's very romantic, and it's also with the pairing with the wine and fine cuisine and things like that. So it's so ingrained. It's like, stop ruining our good time, you know?
Well, I mean, that whole thing with the swirling the glass and looking for the legs and all that is like, it's just a fancy. It's
got a nice nose.
It's a version of cooking up heroin in a spoon for people with money, you know?
Yeah.
It really is just, you know, you're ritualizing the taking of drugs.
Right, like people get addicted to the needle, just using a needle, the whole process of preparing it and shooting it and tying off.
I mean, I still like to drink kombucha out of a wine glass. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's,
it's fun.
Yeah.
It improves your enjoyment somehow. It's just a shame that it's with something with wine where it's so, you know, dangerous and deadly.
Yeah. Well, way back in 2006, the scientists who were studying the studies, they did a new analysis, and they determined that the benefits of moderate drinking had completely vanished. And they issued their findings, and it was picked up by some media outlets, including the LA Times, who put a story that said, "Study puts cork in belief that a little wine helps the heart." And boy, did that piss people off. The alcohol industry took huge steps and spent a lot of money to counteract this rather awkward message that was coming out. And within months, the industry-funded group had organized a symposium to debate the research, and they invited this Dr. Fillmore, who had, you know, punctured a hole in the sacred cow of the study. And he said he went to the symposium. He argued. People were arguing with him. That no, it actually is healthy. And when they published a summary of the symposium, and they said that the consensus of the conference was that moderate alcohol consumption was associated with better health. Dr. Fillmore was pissed because her views were not represented at all, and they just sort of ignored them. And because, you know, once they had this golden ticket from the doctors to sell more booze under this moniker of health, and I wonder how many lives, were ruined by this. How many people got cancer? How many people got heart disease? And how many doctors told people, you can go ahead and go out, drink a few glasses of wine.
I told you my GP, when I saw him for the first time, I mentioned, I haven't, had a drink in whenever it was, 6 years back then. And I said, it's deadly. It could, it's bad for your liver. It's cancerous. It's been proven. He looked at me, he goes, one a day isn't a big deal. That was his response.
Well, when I had insomnia a few years ago, my GP was like, have a glass of wine at night, And he told me this after I had quit for 4 months. And I was like, and the reason I wasn't sleeping was probably because I was, my body chemistry was withdrawing. But I wasn't really into the recovery thing at that point. I wasn't thinking of it in that way. I just thought I'd just stop. And as soon as he told me that, I went home and poured myself a glass of wine. And then I didn't quit drinking again for 10 years. So
thanks, Doc.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't know. Being the New York Times, they have to end with the story with, but Dr. Hay and other researchers are not suggesting a prohibition on alcohol. Oh, heavens no. She just wants people to be informed about the risks. And for most people, it's fine to enjoy a glass of wine every now and then, but it doesn't help your heart. It's just time to let go of that belief. So, and then, of course, the comments, surprisingly balanced. I thought about on this article about you have the usual people who are trying to defend their drinking that show up and whatever.
They get very defensive.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's alcohol in the news.
Alcohol
this week.
in the news. Yeah. All right.
Okay. So, I don't know. Have you been on our Facebook group recently?
Not recently. Well, no.
Not within the last few days?
I had to go off of social media.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's a wise thing.
With everything going on, I couldn't. It's too upsetting.
Well, let me ask you this then. Do you have a week in weird?
I do have a week in weird.
You do? Okay.
Week in weird. This is a really good, interesting one. This comes from the Reno Gazette-Journal. California bill proposes recognizing Bigfoot as the official state cryptid.
Wow.
By Jeffrey Meehan. A bill introduced in the California State Assembly seeks to designate Bigfoot as the state's official cryptid. A cryptid is an animal that some people believe exists,
Yeah,
but
some
has never been scientifically proven, like the Loch Ness Monster or Chupacabra or Richard Simmons or Bigfoot, which not incidentally is. That's a terrible sentence, man. Or Bigfoot, comma, which not incidentally is. This guy go to school, is a tourist draw in the sponsoring Assemblyman's District. Man, that's a bad sentence.
What publication is this?
The Reno Gazette.
Oh, well, there you go.
This guy's not working for the Times. Assemblyman Chris Rogers, Democrat Santa Rosa, introduced Assembly Bill 666. Oh, my God. Earlier this month.
666?
Yeah, legit. Earlier this month as a placeholder bill with the expectation that it will later be amended into an issue of actual state business. Amazing. Rogers told KTVU in San Francisco that the bill was intended as a lighthearted nod to his district, which includes Del Norte, Humboldt, Mendocino, Sonoma,
Humboldt,
Trinity, and an area closely tied to Bigfoot folklore and tourism. Quote, the joke would be that when we amended the bill, the Bigfoot bill would disappear. It would be elusive. It would go away like Bigfoot in our area is known to do. End quote. Willow Creek, California, often called the Bigfoot capital of the world, has been a focal point for reported sightings and roadside attractions dedicated to the legend.
Wow.
Despite its wink-wink origins, AB 666 has drawn national attention, with supporters interested in testifying in favor of the measure. Rogers acknowledged...
that would be a fun hearing to go to.
Oh, my God. Rogers acknowledged the irony of the widespread interest, given that other legislative proposals focus on gas prices, foster care reform, and prescription drug costs, but did not receive the same level of attention.
Can you imagine?
Of course it doesn't. We're talking Bigfoot, man, Sasquatch. And... yeah, that's recovery. That's
can I just say
weird.
I have to give credit to the Week in Weird for the Week in Weird, partially to Grant, who posted 2 days ago suggesting this very topic. As a Week in Weird on our page.
That's weird because I didn't see that.
Yes.
I actually, I'm not going to tell you when and how I found this, but it wasn't there. But wow, so we are in sync, Grant.
Yeah, it has been. It has been in the news. I mean, I don't know what the odds of this thing getting passed are. I think it would be kind of fun. I mean, it's not as urgent as putting Trump's face on, say, the $250 bill, or taking over Greenland and calling it red, white, and blue land. But it is something. So,
God help us all.
Yeah. So wait.
Yeah.
That's the Week in Weird?
Week in Weird. That's for you, Scott. Scott Wick.
That's right.
He's my one fan for that segment.
Somebody's still listening.
Yeah. Well, that about does it for today, right?
Yeah. That's it.
That's all I got. That's all we got, guys. Oh, this Saturday, it's Elimination Chamber on Peacock. The WWE Premium Live event. See who will get to the main event of WrestleMania.
Are they paying us to say that?
No, but it's kind of what I'm looking forward to because I can't watch the news. Thank you so much for listening. Visit us at go to Podbean. Just Google Middle Ages, Recovery in the Middle Ages.
Just Google smelly middle-aged alcoholic men.
Come check us out on Facebook and tweet us at Twat You Twit. Support your favorite show. Give us a 5-star review. We have so much fun getting those reviews and reading them.
We love them because we're insecure.
Yeah. I need a pat on the back. And, we love meeting you guys and chopping it up on the Facebook group. We still do have a Patreon with a Discord-ish. We're, come on there, join us, support the show. And finally, the best way to help the show is to share it with a friend.
Indeed.
If you get something out of our little show, please share the love and help grow the RMA movement. And as we say, non proficiat perfectum.
Progress, not perfection.
See you next time.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Be good.
Bye.